the Home
So
Depot
a couple other things I want to talk about, Dave, is you brought up Apple TV,
Yep.
the MLS production quality, and I want to talk a little bit about the transparency of how things are being broadcast, whether it's offside, replay of certain fouls,
Oof.
how we might be being treated like kids or something. I don't know what the MLS is.
I feel that way. They're cheating. Carmen, do you feel that way? Have you felt? Well, we'll talk about what we're talking about, but do you feel like you're being treated like a 4-year-old on some of these?
There's a little bit of that. Yeah,
it is
definitely.
It's like the early days of MLS when they said people wouldn't come out unless they had music during the game, and they would have in hockey they would have the organ player during the games, like to ramp up the crowd, and you're like, aren't we supposed to be singing?
It's like they don't want us to be arguing over the Ibarra red card. It's like I think it was a red card, but the one camera angle is bad, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't ever do an instant replay, but they only showed it like real quick.
Yeah.
One instant replay, one angle. There's different cameras in the stadium. This is an important moment in the game, right? Did he get it right?
Right.
Now, in fairness,
he went to the VAR. They didn't show any of the VAR angles. I mean,
this is New York City FC, so it's a baseball stadium. So they might not have any other angles because there's no place to put cameras. I'm kidding, obviously. But
well, I know. I also was thinking about that too. Is you joke, but camera technology is getting so good for the production group, and this is Apple TV MLS partnership.
Right.
I want more cameras. I want something special from the Apple TV broadcast. I'm not seeing it. I'm feeling like I'm a 4-year-old getting held back from being able to see what offsides and a red card might look like. I know what it looks like. You can show it to me. I can handle the truth.
I mean, so we were talking about two things: the red card and then the offside, and in the highlight packages and things, these controversial moments, they don't show it.
Yeah.
Right. They're like, oh, we could create too much of a controversy if you actually see that they blew the call, whatever. And you're like treat us like actual adult, people watching the game. Like, for example, in the Premier League, they now have a commission, if you will, every weekend after the weekend's games. They review all of the VAR decisions and any controversial plays, and then they put out a report to the public about them. And sometimes they say, we apologize that they really got that wrong.
Yeah.
And that actually makes you feel good.
Yes, I like that.
Transparency, people.
And so, the New York Red Bulls game, another perfect example of that is, I think it's Almada plays a ball over the top to Etienne, and he's timing his run, and it's very close. In fact, I think he was onside.
Yeah,
Where's our line?
Where's the line? Where is the explanation? Where's the commentary on it? None. Like, I can't handle being like, hey,
you can't handle the truth.
Or even Dave and I were talking about this. Like, if there's technology that's happening upstairs where they're like, hey, we've got the algorithm with multiple cameras and it's getting it right 100% of the time. This is how it works. We don't need to go back and show you. It's always right. The algorithm's got it. We got it. And this is how it works. We're moving on with the game really fast. But they don't tell us anything. They don't show us anything. They don't explain anything. I'm like, that sure as hell looked like he was onside. He was onside, and they took a goal away from us.
Yeah, and one of the things I'll say is that on that play, the referee, the linesman, kept his flag down and then immediately brought it up, which says that the amount of time that he did that in, he couldn't have been thinking about it. It was too long to be thinking about it and not long enough to have like a full VAR. So there's clearly some kind of automated something that got in his ear that said he was offside. Right. And that's what we think.
That's what we think.
But the fact that we're sort of like, we're not sure, right? Like, if that's true, it should be known that that was a VAR decision, and it should be known that there's a line.
Now, do you think this is part of the growing pains of MLS and adding whatever it costs to paint lines and whatever investing X amount of money?
Those aren't real lines, Mikey Dobbs. I don't know if you know that.
But what puts them down on top? But have we even figured out if they do the line? Like, they have to show us. Is there a line? Like,
just
really,
show me.
Are they using a line? We don't know.
Show me that his shoulder was above somebody's foot. Like, I mean, give me.
We're talking about this. We think it's possible, because they haven't really told us. It's possible that they're VAR reviewing it without a computer. That seems crazy, like impossible.
Yeah.
But we don't really 100% know.
I know, but we haven't done any research on this either.
We did look up a little bit, and we were like,
It was like a couple years ago. We looked up and they said they didn't use the line for it was something.
If you're listening live or you watch this later, leave a comment. Like, point us to some documentation on how MLS is doing the video.
We should
review
tweet
of
at the MLS
offside, because I just don't understand why they do this to an audience who's leaning
But
in.
here's the other thing, and the reason why we know that this is sort of a problem, right? So earlier on in the season, Yakamaki scored what would have been the game-winning goal. It would have been his first ever goal, right? It was a rebound that came off.
Really similar.
They ruled it back. And, you know, Doug Roberson, who has access to as much as anybody, right? Because he's the AJC guy, right? He was like, everything he saw said that there was not offside, right? And my problem is, if he doesn't have something that where he's still questioning about it, there is no such thing, as you point out, in the Premier League, because it's the computer that made that call. There's no such thing in the World Cup. So there has to be something wrong with our offside, because otherwise someone like Doug Robertson would say, okay, no, you know, that was obviously the computer made the call. They showed it to whatever.
Like, that's how I want it. I want the computer to make the call. I don't want the computer to get it right 100% of the time.
Right.
And then they show us dum-dums on TV why we're wrong. And then you can be like, you know what? I know you don't like it, but that's offside by the slightest millimeter. I'm okay with that, but say, yes, there's a computer making the call, and then show me with some stupid lines or some explanation of why it was. And they won't do that right now. And it's driving me nuts.
Like the supporters who sing, you know, Luis Suarez, your teeth are offside.
I like that.
Because he bites people.
All right. So there's my MLS production rant.
I agree.
In partnership with Apple TV that's supposed to be this great thing. And is it? Is it?
I don't like the fact that they treat us like kids. Like, there was a conscious effort, for example, on the Ibarra red card, not to show that from 6 different angles and really let us see.
Yeah.
Right now, one possibility is that they don't have 6 different angles. That seems hard to believe, and if that's true, that's a problem.
Very
right.
hard to
But
believe.
I think we've seen this enough where they've sort of glossed over those key moments that it says to me they don't want the fans complaining about controversial decisions. They don't want it to be like that. So they have made a conscientious decision with the broadcast and with everything else to just gloss over.
It has to be.
Which is treating us like 4-year-olds.
I mean, I've seen enough evidence of it now where it is a very conscious decision by the league to remove that level of controversy from what is filmed on camera and showed over again.
So is that a little scary though? Because I feel like MLS as like a league and Apple TV are in this relationship where MLS can be like, we don't want to be controversial about our calls, so we're not don't show all these angles.
That's not Apple TV. That, you know, Apple TV has to trust that MLS knows their product and their audience,
right,
and should be able to make the right decision to say, hey, yeah, we should show the offside from 10 different angles to our really mature, smart soccer audience.
Yeah,
but instead they're treating us like, no, we're not going to show you that.
Free the audience. Free us.
Yes.
Free us.
All right.
I agree.
Okay. That's my rant on MLS production so far. I
agree with
I will say I'm happy to see some of the content is increasing on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
I think
it's getting better.
There's some things that, you know, you knew it was going to be a slow roll. So I am still excited about what could be coming in terms of some of the small stories. What's our own little welcome to Wrexham program on some other team, some other player? Like, how do we create a narrative around some of these teams that's really well done? And I mean, really well done. I mean, if Ryan Reynolds can do it for Wrexham and build this storyline, like, I don't know, some of the stuff is a little cheesy that I've seen so far.
Did you see the one with them and Alex Ferguson?
No.
So Wrexham is playing preseason in the States next summer against Man United, right? So they have this game. It's in San Diego, I think.
Yep.
And so Rob and Ryan get on the Zoom with Sir Alex Ferguson. They said, okay, we want to promote this, right? So they say, Sir Alex, aren't you excited that Wrexham's going to be taking on Man United? And he just looks at them. and they both look at each other or whatever, and they're like, okay, so the summer, and they start talking about whatever, and then they're like, okay, what do you think? He just looks at them, and then Ryan is like, he's freaking me out. He's really good at this. He's totally whatever. He's like, let's get off. He's like, I have to go mow the lawn or something. And he gets up, and then they leave. They just literally hang up on him. And Alex Ferguson's sitting there, and this woman walks in and into his camera shot and says, how'd it go, Sir Alex? And he's like, I don't know. They were muted the whole time.
That's awesome.
Oh, Sir Alex.
He's like, he's playing his mind games. I can't handle it.